Welcome to Grindset. I am your host, Cynthia Daniels, Chief Event Strategist of Cynthia Daniels and Company.
And I'm Williams Brack, your favorite banker.
And today we have a special episode. We're talking to two amazing women. We're talking about everything new founders need to know about Accelerators. So we're first talking to Dana James Mwangi. She's going to be talking about the Cheers Creative Branding Accelerator.
And Dana's not new to the Grindset show. We've heard her story previously, and so we're going to start talking about her branding accelerator, which I saw a presentation for a few months ago. So I'm very, very excited, not only for Grindset Nation, but also for the Afrotech audience to experience the greatness that is Cheers Creative.
Absolutely. And it's a 7-week branding accelerator. So I think we all have time right now to invest in our businesses. So we're excited to hear more about this amazing accelerator.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back with Dana James Mwangi of Cheers Creative right after the break.
Funky Politics. Hey, Funky Politics fan, it is DC.
What a week, what a month, what a year. 2020, y'all.
The information we give you here is always entertaining and it's always educational. And look, let me tell you something. We got more great shows coming your way.
That's the weirdest stuff I've ever seen in my life. I don't even understand, how do you do that?
So make sure you stay tuned for more Funky Politics. Funky Politics, powered by the Kazuki Network. That's right, folks. We're funky sometime. We funky your time. We funky all the time up in here. So make sure you stay tuned for more Funky Politics.
Check out all your Kazukian favorites now. Download the Kazukian app, available on Android and iOS.
All right, welcome, Miss Dana James Mwangi. How are you today?
I'm doing good, y'all. How are y'all doing?
I am good. I think this is the perfect time for you to be talking about your accelerator program because we have downtime to invest in our company. It's time to upgrade yourselves, as Beyonce says, all of that good stuff, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, introduce the audience to you before we talk about the accelerator that you have coming up.
Okay, so again, my name is Dana James Mwangi. I'm a Memphis girl, and I'm a branding and web consultant. I founded Cheers Creative in 2012. We do brand consulting, we do branding workshops, but we also do web design, and we do brand design. But all the design that we do is informed by strategy. So we're not just designing things, it's strategy first and then design second so that you can get long-lasting results.
So it's not just off the top of the head. You got to sit and ask questions and think.
Yes, we are very nosy. That's on this path. We are nosy, and we just keep asking why, because that's what really makes design great. And that's when we realize that strategy is something that needs to be focused on by itself as well, not just design.
Now, hold up. I think you jumped into the first week of the accelerator.
So, no. And wait. Before you even ask, you have to tell us a little bit more. How long have you been doing this? Like, you didn't just discover this overnight on YouTube University. Like, let the people know how long you've been doing this, Dana.
Oh, good Lord. Y'all ready to know my age? Okay. So right after graduating from college 2007, I was a graphic designer doing freelance, doing corporate design. And that's when I learned about what it really takes to maintain a brand. I did corporate graphic design, package designer. I designed checkbooks. I've done everything. Okay. And I decided in 2012, I wanted to launch my own business because I wanted to highlight the business owners in my community. I was like, if I could do brand protection for Target, brand protection for Lowe's and Container Store and everybody else, I could do that for the people in my backyard. And so I started with brand design. So what is that? What does your logo look like? What are your brand colors? What are the fonts? And how are we going to use that on your print materials, your web materials, and social media, right? And that's what I was doing. But then we noticed, wait a minute, graphics alone does not keep a business in business.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go. And
major key.
Major key.
Definitely a major key. So before we go dive into the accelerator, let's go over some common definitions to make sure people are on the same page, right? Absolutely. So what is an accelerator?
Yeah.
What is quote unquote branding, marketing, and design? Can you help us with that? And strategy. Don't forget that one.
Yes, I won't forget it. Okay. So Me and my creative partner, S.O. Tolson, we created what's called a 7-week branding accelerator. Basically, it's 7 weeks of having brand strategists in your pocket to help you define what your business is. Believe it or not, that is the hardest thing for people to do. What is the clarity around your business? What are you? Who do you serve? How do you do it? Where do you do it, right? And then we help you with refine your products, your services, your pricing on top of that clarity, okay? And so what we find is that is what helps people generate sales, when you are clear as humanly possible. So we work with young businesses to help them clarify who they are, who they do it for, why they do it, and even where they do it if that story is special to them, okay? Then we go through their products and services to make sure they're not too bulky, because when we come out the gate, we want to give it all, we want to give people everything, and we end up overwhelming ourselves. So we keep people off of team too much. And it takes a coach to help you do that, because we go in business not realizing we're enough. So that is why we do what we do to keep you off too much, okay? So let's talk about branding, okay? So branding is the art of saying who you are, okay? Like saying who you are and then putting it out there to the world, okay? What do you do and how do you do it? Okay, design is informed by who you say you are. That's why in this accelerator, we don't focus on design. We focus on the soul, the nuts and bolts of the brand, because that's what's going to help you make profit.
I like that P word.
Right. Brack, you go right ahead.
Well, so the Grindset audience definitely likes the P word. So you just keep saying profit, profit. And when you can tie everything back to profit, that makes you a great strategist. So when a founder in a startup is trying to figure out where they're going to secure capital, trying to think through their idea and get it from an idea to realization, why is it important for these founders to prioritize branding early in the process?
Because that's the start of everything. It is literally you being able to say who you are. Let's pretend like you have 15 seconds in the elevator with the most successful person in the world. If you don't know who you are, you're going to blow that conversation. So we teach you how to do that, but then how to apply that level of clarity to everything, your messaging, your website, your email newsletters, everything. Everything must start with clarity. We don't build design on top of unclarity.
I love that. And so who would you say the prime person is that needs to be part of this accelerator?
So we primarily deal with students who have been in business at least a year or two. Okay. This is not ideal. And we're going to be honest. This is not ideal for people who are trying to think about what their business is going to be. This is for people who have been in at least a year or two. They're getting traction. They have customers, but they kind of hit a financial plateau. They're a little overwhelmed and they know something is off in the business, but they don't know what it is. They think it's pricing, but they don't know how to go up without adding too much. That's the time to come to us.
And I think a lot of people get caught up on pricing, right? They don't understand the value they have to offer. They don't think people will pay for it. But it sounds like your accelerator will help them even learn how to do that.
Absolutely. I actually make more by doing less, but providing more impact. Yes.
So hold up. You're telling me that founders and startups can make more and do less at the same time?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So Cheers Creative might be in high demand if you can make that formula work.
The hardest part of the accelerator is believing that simplicity works. That's the hardest thing. We come out trying to offer everything to everybody. And so if you follow our frameworks and follow that simplicity formula, you're going to see an increase in profit.
You know, I was at the presentation you did at Epicenter here in Memphis, and it was pretty simple and it was extremely impactful on the entire audience. From all the stories that you input, the examples that you made, not only personal example from Cheers Creative, but examples from other entertainers and artists and brands of that nature.
Yes.
And I got to say, you crushed it. So I'm looking forward to some of the companies that are going through this 7-week program.
Awesome. Yes, we have a lot of testimonials, a lot of success stories, and we just want to make sure everybody continues to be successful and profitable and thriving.
And so look, this was a great introduction to Cheers Creative, and we touched on the accelerator a little bit. So when we come after the break, we're going to talk about what this 7 weeks actually look like and what some of our founders and startups can expect as a return on investment. You're listening to Grindset, and we'll be right back after the break.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. We are pleased to have with us today Mike Wallace, who is the Grind City Media Senior Editor. Mike, welcome to R&R on Sports.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, man. And I hope you guys are safe and pushing through this, man. Thanks a lot. It's been far too long. I'm glad we finally able to do this.
Absolutely. But Howard, you got to put some respect on this brother's name. Now, he used to do the Heat Index for the Miami Heat. This brother went to the championship 4 times in a row. Now, he wasn't on the court actually before the game and after the game, but he went to the championship 4 times in a row with the Miami Heat. What's up, my brother Mike?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Hey.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Grindset. We're here with
excited to
Dana
be
James.
here, right?
Yeah, we're definitely excited. We're here with Dana James Mwangi of Cheers Creative, and we're talking about the 7-week branding accelerator. Yeah. And so the banker and finance professional in me thinks return on investment. So what kind of return on investment well, first of all, let's start with the end in mind. What should startups and founders expect from this 7-week accelerator as a return on investment?
Right. You should expect, first of all, you're going to have boosted confidence in business. And boosted confidence does end in a return, but not just confidence based on just I feel good. Confidence because you will know what you are doing. Okay. Also, you're going to know exactly what your products and services should be, how to roll them out, what you should be offering, what you should not be offering, and you're going to know exactly how to price those products and services with confidence. Okay. Also, you're going to know exactly what your website needs to have for it to be a cash machine, not just something online to show everybody who you are, but how to make your website truly be a virtual assistant, how to truly make it be a 24/7 assistant for your business that's taking care of a lot of the heavy tasks in your business. And so everything we do leads up to that final week.
Right. And one thing I'd love to kind of harp on for a moment, Dana, is your ability to tell stories, right, with these different brands. Yeah. You have so many new businesses that are starting. They're doing the exact same thing. So how do you really help them tell stories? Can you tell us just a little glimpse into what that process is like for Cheers Creative?
Yes. So that's one of the things we do talk about in the first few weeks is how to tell your story. But it's not just how to tell your story, but how to intertwine your customer story with yours.
God, it's not like, oh, we just started a year ago, we're doing great. It's more than that.
Because a customer in the pandemic don't care that you're doing great, okay? So how do we find the balance of telling our customer story and telling my story as well? Because the truth is we've had customers come to us because they saw themselves in us, and then they saw themselves in our customers too. So what is that balance? And are you able to strike that balance? And how do you create content for the long haul with telling the story of you and telling the story of your customers and making visitors hit that buy button?
Right, right. And let's also touch on one of my pet peeves, your website. I know you can do a free website. I know that's the hottest thing out right now, but I'm sure your accelerator even talks about what the importance is in investing in a real website, right?
Yes, it talks about not just what a website is and what it should do. It talks about page by page. What should an about page do? What should a service page do? What should a home page do? What are the things that's making people leave your website never to return? How should you talk about yourself? When should you talk about yourself? See, the thing is, I used to build web design templates for a living for some of the top WordPress themes in the world. And I know that the goal of a template is to sell a template, not to tell the customer story. So it is left on you and it is left on your graphic design team to really hack into that thing if you start with a template, okay? And tell the story of yourself and the story of your customer so that you can make sales. Otherwise, you're just showing off a whole bunch of fancy stuff that's not making people do business with you.
Love that. I can tell a lot of thought went into this. Brack, I'll turn it over to you because I'll take over right now talking to Dana about this amazing accelerator.
Well, look, I appreciate the alley-oop, and I'm about to dish it back to Dana. So if all designers are working off the same design rules, right? What does Cheers Creative do to kind of stand out from the pack, or maybe even break some rules, so to speak?
You know, what's funny is my creative partner, Esso Tosa, he always says, to break the rules, you got to learn them first, you know? And so both of us, we came from design school, came from, you know, the design background, and that was a great starting point for us. But honestly, what we learned is we got to be a bit more nosy than the average designer. Our solutions are only as good as the questions that we ask. Then we discovered that the questions that we ask is valuable enough by itself. We put all of our questions in a book, and 1,000 downloads later, business owners was like, hey, we need this. And it kept on turning into stuff. That's when we realized being a nosy designer pays off. And so that's how we got into helping people with brand strategy through one-on-ones and even through this 7-week branding accelerator.
Yeah, for the Afrotech audience and for the Grindset audience, being curious is the number one ingredient to good strategy and successful sales. I've been in sales my whole life, and the number one things that help is being curious. So thank you for sharing that, Dana.
Yes.
Right. And one of the things I'd love you to share, Dana, one of the biggest misconceptions about being part of an accelerator. A lot of people hear that and they think, oh, I have to have a tech company. You know, that really doesn't apply to me. So I want to dig into that. Like, tell the audience who needs to be part of your accelerator.
So who needs to be a part of this accelerator? Again, business owners who have a product, have a service, have some customers, you got content and you got feedback. And you know something else needs to be taken higher, right? That's all you need. But you also need the determination to do the work that we give you inside of the accelerator. That's also another thing. People think when you join the accelerator, I'm supposed to automatically be profitable. The magic comes in you doing the work that we give you, but we're with you every step of the way with office hours, with a private Facebook group, a student portal, and it's a very intimate setting where, again, we can get all in your business. But again, we are respectful. You can ask us any questions you want. We will always treat you with dignity because we don't believe in bashing. We believe in helping.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you said some key things there about having a portal, having a private Facebook group. I mean, it's more than just posting on Facebook, hey, come see my website. So I love that you guys really dig deep into it and letting people know that accelerators are for every type of business.
Yes. Product-based, service-based. You helping people, you want to make more impact, then the accelerator does that, accelerates your growth and helps you to avoid years.
You heard that. Accelerate. I like that.
So you've designed checkbooks. You've built templates for that people are using on some of these websites.
Yes.
You've done brand design. You've done strategy.
Yes.
What did you see out there in the landscape that says what's really needed is a brand accelerator?
What I saw, and let's be honest, let's talk about the beginning years before I started my business when I was a freelancer and business owners would come to me for a logo. And I realized then they didn't have a lot of stuff solidified. And here I am trying to design something and make you into something. You know what I mean? And I didn't like the way that felt. I did not like giving business owners the false hope that a logo by itself and a beautiful website by itself was going to do all the work. What I Saw was business owners, and it's not their fault because we didn't tell them. Business owners are putting too much responsibility on a logo. You don't get a logo and then just sit back and expect everybody to know who you are. There's still marketing to be done. There's still strategy and storytelling to be done. And so we teach you how to do that.
And Dana, that's amazing information. We're going to put a pin on it and just allow people to know that there's more to come. We're going to wrap it up right now. We'll be right back after the break at Grindset.
Cynthia.
So we're talking about actual harm against actual people.
Different episodes, you come up with a more surprising thing.
You just taking baby steps, talking about escapism and like, yo, I'm mad, but I'm tired.
Hello. It is a privilege and an honor to join you for this special ceremony.
I can't tell you how privileged and pleased I am to be a part of the most critical conversation of 2020.
Sickle cell disease from birth to childhood up. So thank you for joining us.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
All right, so we're back at Grindset. We're live today from Afrotech. We're super excited, and we're talking to Dana James Mwangi of Cheers Creative, talking about her amazing accelerator program. So Dana, you told us a little bit about your background, who you are, why you and your partner do what you're doing. Let's talk a little bit about the success of your accelerator, right? So you spend 7 weeks in this amazing program. Can you give us at least one success story, kind of talk about somebody that... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You gotta pick one? Oh my goodness.
Everybody need help.
There's gonna be, so the thing is, we have business owners in our accelerator from different backgrounds. And what we have seen overall is increased confidence. And the interesting thing is when we launched our accelerator, COVID hit. So that was the real test to see if what we were doing was really working. And so what we saw during COVID was one of our students, a food scientist, Allie, she got high-paying clients from a free speaking engagement, and then she was able to pivot her business, take it virtual, and create a food science class for kids. That is in high demand. That's one person. We got another one who was already a star in her own right, Carmion, an interior designer. When she took our course, she midway through the course, she went up on her prices and got virtual consultations for interior design from people all throughout the country. Ended up in Essence and every publication you can think of. Okay.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And so we've talked a lot about what Cheers can offer and what the 7-week accelerator is, but what's expected from the participants to make sure they can maximize the experience?
Right. What is expected from the participants is participation.
Hey, that's golden rule.
Showing up and being honest. You know what? We find so many times we don't want people to see what we feel is our mess. We don't want people to see, even when we go for help, we still try to hide things. But the only way we can help you is if you be truthful with us. How much are you really charging for that product? Or when was the last time you emailed your customers, or whatnot? We really need to know the truth. And again, it's a very intimate environment, and we don't accept every business owner. Like we want highly energetic people that are ready to do the work. And what we also find is our students end up co-branding with each other and working with each other on other projects. And that's something that we saw kind of magically happen, because that's the type of environment that we create. Because when you come to our accelerator, you will know that you have more partners than you do have competition if you are willing to be different.
Well, thank you for sharing that in the different segment. And now you keep talking about or referencing the importance of the community from some of the graduates. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what kind of happens in this community?
In this community, we have had people cry. We have had people just put their honest story out there. We've had people that came into the because everybody's got a course nowadays, right? Let's be honest about it. We had one person join and said, I was so coursed out, but I'm so glad I joined your program because you all were the first to really meet our needs, you know? And so you get the answers that you need, you get the confidence that you need, and you get the building blocks that you need to really tell your story in a way that makes your brand about other people. And that's somebody has got to walk you through that. Right. You know what I mean? You're no longer by yourself. And that's what accelerates the growth.
I love that. And I'm thinking, once the program is actually done, do people find that they have now made, these long lasting relationships? Are they connected with you and your partner through Cheers Creative? Kind of what happens once the program wraps?
So I think 2 times already I've cried at the end.
Really?
Because I'm like Mama Bear. And it was like, stop crying.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the students go on and we still watch them on social media. They reach back and they tell us about their testimonials. Even one of them, Christina, who had the city tasting box, she had a food tour business from Memphis and had to pivot. And she did that. And the New York Times. Okay. And then she has partnered with other people in our accelerator because everybody has found that, hey, wait a minute, I'm so different. I don't have to be intimidated by this business owner. We can work together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the type of things that has happened. And we love to see it.
Well, since you mentioned Memphis, right? And Grindset is here, Cheers Creative is here.
Right.
For the Afrotech and the Grindset audience, do you kind of feel supported by the collective ecosystem of entrepreneurship and businesses and startups here in Memphis?
I will tell you that Memphis, oh, goodness gracious, I feel spoiled. Okay. The Black creative entrepreneurs here it's a family like none other. And you see me stand before you with all this boldness, but it's because I'm really never by myself. Ever. Ever. I got about 5 brains to bounce something off of before I post it. And everybody does the same for each other. We protect each other, we comfort each other, and we celebrate each other. And that has helped us to just propel each other forward and as we move and make success virtually.
That's awesome.
Love that. And Dana, I know we're talking about your accelerator program, but I have to veer off just a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are people watching right now that are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, right? So we definitely know that, your program is for 1 year, 2 year business owners, but what helps people just make that leap and jump into entrepreneurship?
All right, y'all, here we go. Here's the magic thing that you need. Jump in there and do it. That's it. Doing the thing is what creates the motivation for you to do it. It's not, you know how you don't feel like working out, but once you get out there and you start walking, you're like, I feel better.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is like that too. And yeah, and don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself the grace to see what works and keep it moving. If it doesn't work, try another method or try something else. Just don't stop.
Right.
Well, Dana, we only have a couple minutes left for the Grindset and Afrotech audience. So I only have 2 questions.
Okay.
What's the time commitment over the 7 weeks that's expected? Mm-hmm. And when the 7 weeks is over, can our startups expect to start making more money immediately?
We've had some students start making more money in the middle of the accelerator. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Coins. But so it's a 7-week accelerator. Really, it's 6 weeks with a bonus week of nothing but support. Okay,
that's smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 weeks with a bonus week of support, and then you come to our weekly live trainings where you get to ask questions. And if you come to those trainings, it's better for you because you showing up, you make the training because you get to ask us questions. And so those are an hour and a half. Okay, and then you may spend about 30 minutes a week working on the challenges that we give you. Because again, it doesn't take a whole lot. You just need a little bit. That's all.
Awesome. And Dana, let people know, where can they find you? Where's your social media information, website, all of that?
All right. So our business is at www.cheerscreative.com. And you'll see the button on there to even go to the accelerator. And I'll just say it again, cheerscreative.com/accelerator. Okay. Also, you can find me online at www.danajamesmwangi.com and Instagram at Dana James Mwangi.
Dana, thank you so much. And to the Grindset and Afrotech audience, 30 minutes, 24 minutes is hardly ever enough time. But hopefully, right? But hopefully we asked enough questions to whet your palate, to get you interested, to go to cheerscreative.com/accelerator and check out this 7-week program. And I promise you, you will get a return on investment because Cheers Creative, Esso, and Dana are both awesome.
Thank you all so much for having me on here.
Thank you so much. And to the Grindset and Afrotech audience, we'll be right back after the break with Danielle Gore, program manager for the 0 to 510 Accelerator, a medical device accelerator here in Memphis, Tennessee. And we'll be right back after the break.
Thanks so much, Danielle.
Welcome back to Sell or Fail. If you ain't selling,
You failing.
you know it, baby. Let's get this money.
And today we have Justin Green, new author of Getting to the Green Sales. What attracted you to sales?
Like Addy always says, I was one teacher or something that changed your outlook on stuff. And this dude here, Fred Landis, I never forget his name. Man, changed my outlook on what I want to do in life and everything.
It's air and opportunity. Go suck up the air while you're taking that opportunity.
The worst thing you can do is try and count somebody else's pocket. Like, that was one of the biggest mistakes.
Sales is the great equalizer.
Let's get this money. Kazookian fans, this is your host, Samuel Nelson, with the Sell or Fail podcast. And we want you to download that app so you can't miss the next episode.
Kazookian. Check out all your Kazookian favorites now. Download the Kazookian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to Grindset. We're happy to have Danielle Gore, program manager of 0 to 510 Medical Device Accelerator. Hosted right here in Memphis, Tennessee, the program leverages key regional strengths and companies in the biomedical research and medical device manufacturing to create a unique program. And Memphis being located in essentially the middle of the country with all these fantastic companies, you can also distribute your devices as well. Welcome, Danielle.
Hi, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you here. You're on the breaking edge of technology right now with all the work that you're doing in Memphis.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
And so, Danielle, would you mind speaking a little bit about your pathway to becoming the program manager at 0 to 510?
Yeah, I get it's not linear at all. I only graduated from college about 5 years ago, and I spent a significant portion of that time actually working towards becoming a physician. So as you can see, I'm not in medical school right now. So, but I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Graduated from high school, Douglas High School in North Memphis, for the people who are on here who know where that is. I graduated and went to college at Wellesley College in Massachusetts. I studied biology while there, was also pre-med. After graduating, went and worked as a medical scribe for a couple of months before going and managing some clinical trials in oncology at a popular cancer research hospital in Boston, and then decided to move back to Memphis to wrap up the last of my 3 to 4 pre-med classes. And ironically, after I finished all my classes and put in all that work, decided to take a pivot and learn more about the business and innovation side of medicine. And yeah, right. And thankfully, I had great opportunities to intern and take classes in Boston. So I was able to intern at Harvard Med School with a group who was starting an incubator and accelerator for primary care ventures. And I was also able to intern and take classes at MIT around business and medicine. So that really got me interested in startups and other companies that were innovating in medicine. So once I found out about the 0 to 510 program here in Memphis and realized I could do something like that locally, I jumped on the opportunity.
And I think your story is very relatable. We definitely always, Danielle, start out in college, we get those degrees, and we think we're going to work with this one company for, 20, 30 years. And I love your journey that midway, you said, wait a minute, this is not even my passion anymore. And you took that pivot. So I commend you, number one, for that. But for those people that are listening, what was that aha moment that made you get to that point? Like, you know what, it's time to change and not be scared to do it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it's a little weird and ironic because the thing that keeps me motivated to do what I do at 0 to 510 is actually the very thing that kind of I wouldn't say deterred me from a career in medicine, but it's very challenging. People who are in medical school, who've worked in healthcare, who probably practiced and everything, know that it's really challenging to be like a woman of color or a Black woman in that field. Sometimes you're left to feel like maybe you're not smart enough, you're not bright enough. And I just went through a period where I was tired of feeling like that. And I knew that I was really passionate about medicine, innovation, and startups. So I just felt like this would be a really great opportunity to sort of pivot from that and see if I can practice medicine, then what else? I'll admit it was not easy. It still is not easy sometimes, but I'm really interested in exploring like a new pathway, because with medicine and med school, your blueprint is already made out, whereas on this side, you're having to figure out what that pathway is going to look like.
I love that. And then here on Grindset, we love to talk about, how do you get from one point to another? So right now you're the program manager of 0 to 510. Tell us a little bit about that role.
So it encompasses a bit, especially now that we're in the midst of COVID. But for the most part, I manage the day-to-day of the accelerator. So anything that needs to happen, any mentors that need to be connected with the founders, anything the founders need, I manage that, and also the schedule for the accelerator. I also help with developing the curriculum, the business curriculum, and the medical device specific curriculum for the program. And now that we're merging into really highlighting equity and trying to increase the Black entrepreneurs in our med tech portfolio, I'm also doing a lot of work around strategizing how we develop some pipelines and develop some partnerships locally to grow our local talent and also support some existing Black med tech founders.
That's awesome, and thank you for sharing. That was a lot, and so let's unpack it kind of slowly. Right. Can you explain to the Afrotech and Grindset audience 0 to 510 medical device accelerator?
So we are a 3-month-long accelerator program. We take place in early May, and we end with a big demo day in mid-August. So we're about 14 to 15 weeks of programming. And the benefit is the founders get the traditional business development principles, how to start a business, how to run a business, how to launch, customer discovery, and then they get the various medical device specific training. So how to think through your customer discovery, your product development plan, the design of your product, patent strategy, reimbursement, how you're going to get paid by hospitals, manufacturing. We literally cover a wide range of things, anything you would need to get through to the FDA submission process.
So hold up. Do I have to come to you with a device, or can I come with an idea?
Good question.
That's the thing. Most people think that they have to have a prototype, meaning they have some development of the device, but we've really taken a wide range. So we've had founders who have come to us with a prototype, but we've also had entrepreneurs who were working on the idea and concept for 3 months. They didn't have a prototype. They really just had an idea. And because we believed in the entrepreneur, we believed in the market and the commercial potential of the device, we brought them in. And that founder in particular has raised over $300,000 in additional capital since then. So it really depends on the market and your stick-to-itiveness with the idea and the concept.
I wish I had a cash register soundbite.
I think we all hear it. I heard it in my head for sure. Oh, wow. So Danielle, we have so much more to cover. We're going to just take a moment to take a break. We are so excited to talk about this amazing accelerator, and we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Funky Politics, the hardest hitting political show on the planet. Speaking of taking care of ourselves, got a young lady, as I said earlier, Sadiqa Reynolds, who happens to be the president and CEO of the Urban League of Louisville. She's on the show today. We want to talk a lot about social justice. What does social justice mean to a people who have been oppressed for so many years that we don't even know what justice is anymore, or at least what we consider to be real justice anymore for the majority of us. And then we want to talk about hopefully an economic upswing in our communities of color who have been oppressed for so many years.
But especially people in Louisville, we are going through a lot here in the city, COVID-19, yes, and all of the challenges that has brought with it.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to Grindset. We're here with Danielle Gore, Program Manager for the 0 to 510 Accelerator here in Memphis. Now, before we talk about why a company would even want to go through an accelerator, would you mind talking about the relationship and the connection between Memphis and the medical device industry?
Absolutely. So, what a lot of people don't know, even Memphians don't know, is that Memphis is actually considered one of the second largest orthopedic medical device hubs in the country. So, we are considered a major medical device hub in the nation. And because of that, we have a number of big players like Medtronic, Smith & Nephew, Wright Medical, which was recently acquired by Stryker. And because of all those, we also have a number of great consultants and other small but global manufacturers, manufacturing folks, packaging people, and also consultants around reimbursement and regulatory affairs. In addition to all the universities that we have here, the joint programs about medical engineering, the investment in STEM that the University of Memphis recently got, and then the number of hospitals. We have St. Jude. A lot of people don't know, we also have other notable institutions like Campbell Clinic, which is known nationally for the work they do in orthopedics, and also Seams Murphy, which is known for the work they do in neurosurgery and neurology. We have a very robust ecosystem of life science partners and healthcare professionals to really lean on when it comes to adding value to the startups that we support through the accelerator.
Sheesh, shout out to Memphis. Go ahead, Cynthia.
That's incredible. I learned something right there. Thank you for sharing.
And so why would a company want to go through an accelerator program like the 0 to 510 accelerator?
So I think one of the biggest benefits that we always hear from the founders is that because we're so specific to medical device specifically, they really get a lot of value out of the program. And I would say the next biggest benefit is that, I don't stand in front of a room and try and teach all the stuff that I rattled off earlier. We literally bring in professionals and expert mentors come in and lead sessions. And these are folks who do this day in and day out. So for our patent session, we're bringing in a patent attorney to do that. For our reimbursement session, we're bringing in a reimbursement consultant. We're bringing in manufacturing and packaging consultants to lead these sessions. And then they typically will do a one-on-one session with the teams, depending on how big the cohort is. So they're really getting that hands-on medical device specific training with the addition of all the curriculum we have around business and business development.
So you mentioned earlier, Danielle, that companies don't necessarily have to have an actual medical device ready when they want to be part of your accelerator. Tell us a little bit more about, ideally, what type of businesses would you recommend to be part of your accelerator?
So, and the type of business is tricky because we have anything from implants to biodegradable medication-eluting implants. And so it really ranges in terms of what type of medical device. So I really always just tell people, send us your concept or schedule a screening call with us so that we can assess if it's going to be a good fit. But in terms of stage, again, that really varies. So I think it really depends on the team and the stage, because we've had founders who've come to us and they have the prototype. It's a sizable market, but the team knows that they're not ready for a sizable investment yet. So they have to do a bit more training. So we actually have a pre-accelerator for those founders who need to do a bit more on the front end to get ready for an accelerator or a really big investment. It really depends on the stage and the team, and of course the technology and the device. Is it patentable? Can we get a patent? I think that's also a really big question that comes up when you're talking about investment.
So you got an accelerator before the accelerator. Is there a post-accelerator?
Well, we do. So we have our pre-accelerator program for those super early stage founders who need help on customer discovery. And then we have our traditional accelerator program. And for the founders who leave the accelerator, we actually piloted earlier this year a growth stage program for those companies that want to continue to scale and grow their company.
Well, thank you. That was a joke, but thank you for sharing that.
Right. 3 months. I'm sure you can cover a lot in 3 months in her accelerator.
Now, hold up. The Grindset audience always wants to know about capital. We're hearing a tremendous amount about the education portion, which is important and has tremendous value, but there's nothing like hard cold hard cash, right?
The banker thing, of course, the banker thing.
And so talk about the capital, either investment or raising aspect of the 0 to 510 accelerator.
Right. So we will do an initial investment of $25,000 just for the founders to come on. We do ask for an equity stake with the investment that we make for the participation. I want to throw that out there. But we'll do an additional $25K investment, and then towards the end of the program, if the founders have made progress, then we will do an additional follow-on investment of $25K. So founders can get up to $50,000 in investment through participation in the accelerator program. And then sort of spread throughout the program, we also try and provide opportunities. Once we bring in our investment partners, Innova Memphis, they're great partners. They come in and help the founders sort of think through how an investment would work, how to get investment ready, how to have an investment worthy pitch deck, and all the other components that come with that. And we also try and find other opportunities to put our founders in front of other VCs throughout the program.
Well,
it's truly incredible. One thing I'd love to know as well, what does that first week look like in your accelerator? Like, just give the audience an idea. So it's 3 months, which it sounds like the information you've already shared, you're going to cover a lot. You get a lot of professionals at your beck and call. But what does week 1 look like to these new participants?
I would credit that too. We partner with our program with StartCo, which is a venture development firm here in Memphis. So like, I love that we call it like drinking from a faucet, like you're getting a lot in 1 week. So they're delving into like customer discovery questions. They're starting the process of thinking through what financials are going to look like. They're all getting to know one another. We're asking them a bunch of screening questions about their business, about their cash flow. So it's really a lot of that foundational, where are you now, so that we can sort of plan and start setting some KPIs down the line for what milestones should be for each individual company.
Danielle, thank you for sharing that. Now, as we close out this segment, you mentioned for the capital that you would inject into the business, you do request some equity. And for most founders, but especially for African-American founders, giving up equity can create a lot of heartburn, so to speak, and require maybe even a lot of explanation about how it works. So how do you start to mitigate the conversations of, oh, I don't want to give up any equity, I don't want to give up any ownership in the business?
I always try and tell entrepreneurs, which thankfully I don't have to do a lot of the capital talk. I leave that to our investment partners. We only ask for about 3 to 5% equity, which isn't a ton, but I know it's still like giving up something. People consider their startups like their baby, so I know it's a lot. But I always just try and further emphasize the benefit of, one, you're getting access to experts in the industry, you're getting access to a great curriculum, you're getting access to our wonderful alumni, all the benefits of Memphis. If you know Memphis, you know that people are willing to meet with you, people are willing to mentor. So that benefit, in addition to the fact that they also have opportunity for additional follow-on funding with Innova Memphis. They're known for being one of the most active investors across the Southeast. So having a partnership with them also serves later down the line in terms of investment.
Definitely. Shout out to Innova Memphis for the fundraising arm of the 0 to 510 Accelerator. And after the break, we're going to talk about what entrepreneurs should expect once they complete the program. And even do you have to be in Memphis to even join this? So we're going to answer that when we get back. You're listening to Grindset, and we'll be right back after the break.
Hey, I'm Howard Robertson of R&R on Sports. Have you heard our latest show?
Back with us on R&R on Sports, NBA champion, Brother David West. Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Our good friend, Brother Robert Scoop Jackson. Welcome back to R&R on Sports. My brother, the Grind City Media senior editor. Mike, welcome to R&R on Sports.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, man, and I hope you guys are safe.
Get the updates by downloading the Kazukian app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Kazukian.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking to Danielle Gore. She's the program manager for 0 to 510. You've walked us through what your 3-month accelerator looks like, who needs to be part of it, how your own career pivoted into the space. But one thing we'd love to talk about now is, what does the ending of this program look like? Like, once it's complete, what are the next steps for everyone when they leave kind of that protected space?
Right. So we really I know. So we really emphasize the need to continue to engage with the founders, especially in those 3 to 6 months and longer, if possible, after the program. So we still schedule meetings. If they want to meet monthly, we'll still meet monthly with them just to do office hours and get a gauge on what resources they may need. Some founders from the last cohort, we have meetings up until 13 to 14 months after the accelerator ended. So we continue to engage, because Epicenter is always gaining access to different resources. So we always want to make sure that the founders are aware of that, and we're able to connect them to different things that can help their company. So it doesn't stop there. And then additionally, we have a stage program that I mentioned that we piloted. So that's an opportunity for some of our founders to get that additional cohort feel for continuing to grow their company. We actually had one founder who came out of our 2019 accelerator. They participated in that pilot program, and they really benefited from it.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And that was one of my next questions. Can you share just at least one success story from one of your participants?
I feel like Dana, like it's really hard because there's so many.
Just 100 or 100. No,
Actually, speaking of 100, Kayla Graff, one of our founders from Sweet Bio, she was recently featured in the top 100 female founders in Inc. So that's just one. And I would say another one that's recent is we had a founder who came through our 2019 cohort, and she actually pivoted her business, which is their asthma sleep solutions. They have a CPAP mask that they're developing, but she actually pivoted her business to develop a patch for COVID patients that would allow for a N95 patch to go on CPAP mask, and to sort of to limit the contaminated air of COVID, while instead of people having to get intubated, they can use the mask, and it's blowing out air. So instead of having that air be contaminated with COVID, it would.
Yeah.
So we got some great success stories going on.
Wow, talk about a pivot. That's incredible.
I know, right? Thank you for sharing the successes. Now, listen, this is a mashup with Afrotech, right? So how does the 0 to 510 accelerator program ensure that the accelerator is both diverse and inclusive?
So, that's been a really big focus for us, especially over the last year and a half and since I started this role. So we are really big on trying to ensure that we're recruiting more Black founders and increasing the representation of our Black founders. So we've actually done a really great job over the 8 years that we've been here. So 61% of the 33 startups who've come through our program, 61% of they have at least one non-white male founder. So they're led by at least one woman or a person of color on their team. So we're doing really great, but we're at about 15% in terms of Black founders. So we are committed to increasing that, because we know that Memphis is a predominantly Black city, and we want to ensure that we have a great representation of our city's demographic. So now we're trying to recruit more Black founders. We're going to HBCUs. We're trying to talk to other Black STEM professional groups like NSBE, try and build rapport with them so that we can get more Black founders coming through our program, and also developing some local pipelines to develop the next wave and generation of STEM talent so that they can participate as well.
Now, thank you for sharing that. And the Grindset audience, well, Afrotech audience also needs to know. So Grindset is in Memphis. 0 to 510 Accelerator is in Memphis. Do companies need to be in Memphis to take advantage of this accelerator, or can they relocate from other cities, or do they even have to relocate?
Right.
So if they're outside of Memphis, we would ask that they either one relocate or that they have a strong presence in Memphis. So we've been doing very great at what we've done over the years. We offer a lot of resources, and while we would love to just do it freely, at the core of what we do is for continuing to advance the life science ecosystem that exists here. So we always want to make sure that the founders that we're bringing here, even if they're not going to live in Memphis, they're going to have a strong presence in Memphis. So we have founders who've come through the program who are actually based in Chicago, but they do a lot of business with local hospitals here in Memphis, and they're selling here in Memphis. So there would have to be some way that you want to have a strong presence in Memphis for us to seriously consider the founder for the program.
Thank you.
I love that. And shameful plug, what you mentioned earlier, that Memphis is the medical district of the South. I mean, if you can again kind of name off, there you go. That's right. Put a little sway to it. Kind of name off the different hospitals and medical institutes that people can partner with after this accelerator.
Yeah, so there's St. Jude Research Hospital, there's Campbell Clinic in orthopedics, there's Seams Murphy in neurology, and then there's also Regional One. They're regarded as one of the top places in the region for trauma, so they're also notable as well.
Right. So Memphis really is a great place to come if people decide to relocate. And like you said, you have so many resources that people can use. And I love that it's not just 3 months. I think when I asked you that question earlier, Danielle, I was looking for a hard stop at 3 months, but you said you're working with people 13, 14 months out. So that says a lot about the care and concern that you have for these founders of these companies. So I think that's incredible.
Exactly. We care about their success, and we want to continue to help them grow. That's our purpose. That's our goal.
I love that. So the big question, how do people find out more information about this program? How do they get enrolled? Any social media websites? Give us all of that information, Danielle.
So you can find us at 0to510.com on our website. We're also at 0 to 510, both on Facebook and on Twitter. And also, if you have a concept or an idea and you want to shoot an email my way or want to schedule a screening call, you can also email me at dgore@0to510.com. So that is DGORE at ZEROTO5 0.com.
I love that. Oh my gosh, you are incredible. Your energy was amazing, and anyone would be lucky to work with you as the program manager of 0 to 510.
Yeah, absolutely. And my favorite thing about this 0 to 510 accelerator is that I can come to you with an idea, a well-developed idea, but definitely an idea. Or I could come with a rough draft of my device that I'm thinking about planning. And so that's a huge leg up versus coming in with the finished product and trying to accelerate that growth. So 90 days is fantastic. Coming with an idea is fantastic. And the range of products that you can create in the medical device area is great. So Danielle, thank you so much for coming on and sharing more about the 0 to 510 accelerator.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me.
You're listening to, thank you. You're listening to Grindset, and we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Funky Politics, the hardest hitting political show on the planet. Man, I tell people all the time, what a difference a day makes. We got a wonderful guest today, a brother by the name of Aaron McCormick. This brother was one of the top salespeople for IBM. I'm talking about making millions and millions of dollars.
We know that the most valuable thing we all have, more valuable than our love for our family, more valuable than church, God, is time. Because without time, you don't got any of those things, right? Life has taught me a lot of things. And one of the things that's unequivocally taught me is that better things often follow the darkest moments.
Hey, I'm DC. Have you heard our latest shows? Get updates on our most recent shows by downloading the Kazukian app in the App Store or Google Play.
Kazukian. Check out all your Kazukian favorites now. Download the Kazukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to Grindset, and I want to thank all of our partners, right? And so Afrotech, Epicenter, the 0 to 510 accelerator. And I learned a lot about the acceleration of business, right? You can accelerate the business as a startup founder or you can accelerate your brand. And what's important is both need to be done kind of simultaneously. understand your why, and then find accelerators, companies, people's mentors who can help take you, your idea, and your business to the next level. And between Dana and Danielle, they both offered great ideas about how to do that. And I feel extremely fortunate and blessed to be in Memphis where these two programs exist. And so if you're out there, you're listening, consider Memphis, because Memphis is definitely investable. Cynthia?
Absolutely. And with that alley-oop, I just have to share, guys, I have an HR background, and Memphis turned me into an entrepreneur. So Memphis kind of is the place to be. Just want to put that out there, right? But Dana and Danielle were both amazing guests. I think what they both had in common were that they definitely both had career paths, and they redirected that to focus on their passion. And now they're part of these amazing accelerators to help other business owners grow and just really be game changers in our country, because we need it now more than ever. I also have to put out a plug for our show. A lot of people, this is their first time watching the Grindset podcast, right? So got to make sure you follow us on social media at Grindset Podcast. You can listen to us at the Kazuki Network app, Stitcher app, and other apps just for your own listening pleasure. So we've been doing this for 2 years, right? So we got a lot of great episodes for you to check out.
And to all our founders and our startups, if you want to go quick, go at it alone. If you want to go far and you want to do it better, get a team, consider an accelerator. You're listening to Grindset, and we'll see you next episode.